Man, I missed all of you. Hey, everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Josh. Welcome to season 2 of Legends on the Rise, where I interview up and coming artists and creatives of all kinds. It encompasses every single thing about creativity. I'm Josh, and this is Legends on the Rise. Make sure to hit record this time at the beginning.
Okay, good.
All right, so you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
Yes, my name is EuHarra, and confidently now I can finally say I'm an artist. I kind of do a little bit of everything surrounding media, entertainment, and arts. So that's singing, rapping, producing, pretty much anything you can think of. I guess I can throw in content creation now. So everything that has to do with media, entertainment, and arts, I know a little something about it, and my interest is there.
Nice. Good to hear it. Moving into the front space instead of like behind the scenes.
Yeah, pretty much, basically.
Have you looked into any open mic type stuff or performance-based stuff recently or?
I know of one that one of my other friends have mentioned to me. I used to know about them so much so a couple of years ago. But when you're kind of just shuffling around trying to find your place, you kind of forget a little bit about a lot of things. But as of right now, it's this one called Industry Tuesdays.
Mhm.
It's a very strong hip hop R&B scene, and it's very, very lit and dope. So I might be hitting that stage soon.
And where is that at?
I've only been there one time, and I want to say the area it was in, it wasn't too far from a Westheimer area, not too far from the Galleria Mall, somewhere around that section.
Okay, I'll have to look into that myself then, I think.
Yeah, I'll send you the info so you can know the direct location.
What did your early days look like as a creator, if you don't mind me asking?
So I pretty much got my start from this website called Soundation. It was a website for beat makers, and I had no equipment at the time. So I had to like literally click in every single thing, and I didn't even know how to use my keyboard. So it was all just literally my hand. And because I have a music theory background, because I did band back in school, choir, and all that stuff like that, I was able to apply music theory to that software on the website and kind of make my own music. So that's pretty much how I got started.
Nice. Do you ever like dabble in, or actually, you said you use Logic, right? You don't use FL Studio or any of that, or do you kind of?
No, I tried FL, but I just couldn't get with the interface. So Logic it was.
What about like Ableton? Because I know that's also kind of another big one that a lot of
Oh yeah,
producers
I don't use Ableton. I never got into Ableton. Just hands down, I never got into Ableton, but some people are so fluent in it and they rock it out. Me, that's not my thing.
did you like start on GarageBand? Is that why it's easier for you to use like Logic or?
Actually, so the way my transition went was it was Foundation, a free website
Mhm.
online, and then I had got really, really good, and then my parents invested into this beat machine that they actually saw Shaquille O'Neal using, which was
Hmm.
Native Instruments franchise, and they had bought it for me. And I installed the software on my computer, and I literally taught myself how to use that whole software.
That whole setup basically.
Yeah. And I just pretty much been with them ever since. And that was about like 2016, 2017. Yeah.
Nice. Do you remember the first microphone you used when you got started to record, just like experimenting, and what mic do you use now in comparison?
I can't remember the exact microphone, the brand and all that stuff like that. When I first started recording, it was on the school laptop. I grew up on the north side, so that was pretty much Klein Spring ISD. And we were really one of the first school districts to kind of get electronics, like
Mhm.
the little pads and the computers and all that stuff like that. And they had Audacity on there.
Yeah,
And that's when I started recording. And I had some kind of microphone then. I just don't know what it was. But the brand that I use now is Rode. And the comparison, it doesn't compare. The quality, of course, is just 1,000 times better.
Is it the NT1? I think that's what it
Yes,
was.
it's the NT one. Yeah.
Nice. That's a good mic, actually.
Yeah, it is. Rode is a pretty good brand. They hold their own.
What's one core vibe or message that you want others to get from your brand as you walk into the artist's path?
My overall message is take your time, but not too much time. The faster you believe in yourself, the faster you're going to get where it is that you're trying to go. Trust your journey, trust your path. Don't compare. I know it's just such an easy thing to slip into and to slip into comparison, but really just find your lane, own your lane, and soar in your lane. That's it.
Do you ever struggle with comparing your journey to others? And how do you stay grounded to the version of yourself that you're trying to be when you do?
Yeah, I have definitely struggled with comparison. Sometimes I still do, and I have to snap myself out of it and say, "Hey, look, you cannot compare your day 30 to somebody's third year. You cannot compare your day 1 to somebody's year 5 or year 10 or year 20." One thing that kind of just helps soothe that for me is that at some point everybody had to start somewhere, and nobody is a master at the start,
Yeah.
so just take your time, stay consistent with whatever it is that I'm doing, and just trust that if I do what I'm supposed to do here, then what I do here is going to get me there, and just rinse and repeat that same cycle.
So recently, I just interviewed a mutual friend of ours from HCC from the Mesa performance thing. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember the woman by the name of Aki. That was like her stage name. She went by Aki Noodles.
What's her real name?
Akila Richmond.
Oh, the name sounds so familiar. Very
Well,
familiar.
I ask about that because we were talking on like collabs and stuff. And one of the things I wanted to ask you was like, was there a collab that like ever pushed you like in your creative journey or one that you want to do that you think will help you get to the next level?
I really haven't collabed very much with anyone. There was when I was really, really like making beats a lot. I collaborated with a few of my producer friends, and that kind of gave me a little fuel to keep going. But that was some time ago. That was about maybe 6 years ago. That collab had happened. As of right now, who do I want to collab with? Nobody, because I am 100% focused on allowing my sound and my artistry to be heard 100% fully with just me first, and then still building up that confidence to branch out and work with other people. But I got to be solid in who I am as an artist first before I hop on somebody else's song.
I got
So,
I gotta be honest, I'm surprised you and August haven't like collabed on anything. You didn't reach out to him at any
yeah.
point, or
Huh?
I said you didn't like reach out to him at any point about a collab or like even produce a beat or
No, we did back at the time, where we were both co-presidents with
yeah.
MISA for that year. He did like trade so many of his songs with me. And I would give him, just my feedback on it. So I guess you can kind of say that was like some kind of collaboration, but not really. So no, it was more just so appreciating each other's art, affirming each other, and just supporting each other's sound and music.
What's a current trend for promoting artists that you see that you feel is a bit overhyped or something that you personally wouldn't do?
The cringe stuff, like I kind of don't want to like have to just like overperform or over gimmick myself, or feel like I have to go so out of a box that is not authentic to me just to get views or just to get plays or just to get the links that in the bio click to get the music heard.
Yeah,
But I do have to admit and say that there is a sort of a game to this whole promo and marketing thing.
yeah,
And unfortunately, people on the internet, they like to see certain type of stuff. So what I'm working on right now is just kind of finding a way to bring who I am to that whole system and make and keep it as original and authentic as possible for me. So yeah, I don't mind playing the game a little bit, but I'm gonna have to throw some of my own rules in there.
I mean, that's how you're supposed to do it. Just find your own voice and then figure out how to like connect that to an audience to get them to gravitate towards your art. So that's
Right.
essentially what you got to do anyway. But
That's true.
yeah. So following on the whole marketing thing, because you said you want to be as authentic as possible, and I know that can be a challenge, especially like when you're just finding like and like starting out as an artist, essentially. So have there been any tools or strategies or tips that you like figured out or have learned that have been really helpful, like starting out?
There's this guy that I watch on Instagram. He's probably dropping like 10 videos a day. If I'm not mistaken, I think his IG handle is Promo God. And one of the things that he said is just that you should be as diverse as you are going to allow yourself to be. Meaning that, like, you should be trying a little bit of everything. Don't keep yourself in a box. Don't close yourself in. Don't say, oh, that's not me, because you might be surprised that trying this thing, if you try it being you, you're going to realize that, oh, that actually is me. So that's a tip that really hit home for me, was just, hey, just don't worry about what people are going to think about you. Long as you being true to you, you can try whatever you want to try, and just add things to you that you didn't know that you would like, so just diversifying myself and getting outside the box and out my head.
Fair enough. So with that being said, with getting out of your head and diversifying a bit, how much do you think consistency and experimentation play a part in that?
um I think it's equal. I would say 50 and 50. Um, because with consistency, that builds trust, in your brand and in your artistry, that people see that you're taking this serious. And the thing about consistency is that a lot of people believe that consistency is frequent. Like, it's kind of like two different things, that from some of the people that I kind of been watching and listening to, all the ebooks I downloaded and spent money on. It's just like, hey, consistency doesn't mean you have to do this 7 days a week, 50 times a day. It just means that what you are presenting has to be consistent. It has to be cohesive. And since you're kind of really just starting out, everything is new. Everything is experimental for other people that are experiencing your art, So you may try a little song in this genre, or you may try a song differently in this way, in this style, and people may actually like it. So I think you have to have both. It's 50 and 50.
Gonna switch over a bit. Mental health plays a huge role within the entertainment industry. We all have seen it with different artists, with different musicians, actors, actresses. For you personally, what is something that kind of like helps you to reset your mind, and what is your kind of ritual and mental health self-care routine for yourself?
Mental health is super important to me. I took some weeks, more than 1 week off from work. And it was literally in the middle of the schedule. And I work in the healthcare field, and that's just something that you just can't do. But I did it because that's what I needed. And luckily for me, my job was able to support me with that break. And I pretty much just slept. That's my remedy for just about everything. I'm going to go to sleep. Rest is very important for me. And I noticed that, when I am highly underrested, because I'm always on go mode, because I'm the kind of person where if I'm into something, or if my interest is in something, or if I'm working on something, I don't know how to just give 30% to it. I go all in. And unfortunately, sometimes that leads to burnout when I don't have the right balance. So one of the things that I have just really prioritized this year has just been my rest and my peace. Yeah, that's
Uh,
my formula. Go to
Hey,
sleep.
hey, go to sleep. You can wake up with a more refreshed mind, more clarity on what you need to do. So, as long as it
Yeah.
helps reset your focus on everything. So what do you think is one big goal that you've set for yourself with this for the next year or 2 years from now?
One of the big goals that I have is just trying to put as much music as I possibly can. Catching up on music that I know has like years on it, you know, there's like a whole almost like 10 years of music that was never witnessed, from anyone other than myself and really, really close friends and family. So I'm kind of like doing two things at one time. I'm kind of like getting out all the old music and working on new music and trying to get that out and heard as well. So it's like probably for the rest of the year, this year and the next upcoming year, it is going to be maybe like perceived from a listener's perspective. It may be like two different versions of me, the old version and then kind of like the new updated version. But that's just because I want that music that I created for almost 10 years to be heard. So that's one of my big goals, trying to find a way how to package all that old music and have the proper rollout along with the new music that I have that represents what I have grown into today. So yeah.
So, as far as the whole repackaging and repurposing the music that you're planning on doing for these 10 years or so, right? Um, do you have a bunch of music that is sitting kind of in a vault? Because I know you released your song Tit for Tat, and you said you've been
Right.
sitting on that one for a minute. So I take it
Yes.
you have a lot of songs like that kind of just sitting in the vault waiting to be.
Yes, one of the songs that I'm going to be releasing probably as a single for August or September is going to be this song called Big Whack. Big Whack. I absolutely adore this song, and that song is about 5 years old.
Wow.
But the song sounds like I just made it yesterday because the quality of that song was really when I was doing artist development on my own. And like I said, I just didn't have the confidence to put it out at that time. So it just stayed on the computer for 5 years.
Do we have like set dates for an EP or an album? Are you gonna compile some of
Yes.
these songs or?
Yes. So the series that I'm doing that's kind of just been dropping on Instagram has kind of been from the archive series, and that's where all the old music is falling under. So the song Tit for Tat falls under that. The song Big Whack falls under that. So I think I'm eventually going to put all of those songs on an EP and throw in some other songs on there that's been, 5+ years old and release that as an EP. But my debut EP that I'm working on, that's real right now. Like that's all fresh music. Nobody has ever heard of that stuff. That's stuff that music has came from an experience that I have had and lived through something for the within this past year from 2024 early up into this year. So that's current music, what my current sound has developed into now. And that EP should be dropping towards the end of July.
Nice. So we can expect it in July. For
Yes, you can expect it in July because that's my birthday month. So it's July is special for me. So yeah.
I was just clarifying because you said you're gonna release Big Whack in August or September as a single maybe. So is that
Right.
not gonna be on the July release?
No, it's not going to be on the July release because I want to do a video for it. So
Gotcha.
a little bit more time to kind of just sit with it and kind of, learn some more marketing stuff to give it the best opportunity of being seen as from as many people as possible. And if I want to do that, then I'm going to have to learn some things that I don't know how to do.
Fair, fair. Maybe hit up that TikTok and start doing some TikTok. Oh, you said you don't really want to do all the trends, but
Yeah, I really don't want to do them. But if I am, then I'm just gonna have to do it my way. So
gotcha.
that's the thing. So yeah. But yeah, I might get a TikTok. I don't know.
What would you say to someone who's burning out but feels kind of guilty stepping away to take a break?
Oh, not taking the break, not stepping away is going to eat you alive. And if you don't take that step back when you really feel you need to, you're going to explode with whatever that may look like. And you don't have any control over what that explosion looks like. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you explode in whatever way that may be, you're leaking out on other people that may not have anything to do with it or people that do have something to do with it and it's rightfully so, but it's probably wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
So when you feel that like, yo, I'm losing it, I need to take a break or I need to walk away or I'm burning out, before I quit my job, I took a step back. because I felt it coming on, because I know myself. I've studied my patterns. I know my ways. And I know, like, okay, I went all in. I went hard for 6 months. I know what happens when that 6 month mark hits. I'm either going to quit and take a break and then get a new job and then start that same cycle over again. Or I'm going to say, hey, I need to take a step back. I kind of need to reassess some things, readjust, relax, and then come back, and hit it hard with a clear mindset, but with better boundaries. So that's what it all comes down to. You have to have those boundaries and you have to establish them and stick to them. Draw the line and hold that line. You see what I'm saying? And that's what something that I did from experience that I can tell somebody. Don't explode. Don't do it.
So you made a post, and we also talked about this when we tried the podcast for the first time,
Hmm.
about how you didn't like the term content creator. You know where
Precisely.
you know where I'm about to go with this? The whole
Yeah.
content creation and influencer thing. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that, some people it just works. They just get it. They just are so tech savvy. They are just so all into the editing already,
Yeah.
or their lifestyle already has allows for time for them to do that. But what do you say to the 9 to 5er that works 40 hours plus overtime in a week? And they're also working on, their physical health, making sure they eat right, making sure they prioritize the gym, but also making sure they prioritize family. There's only 24 hours in a day. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like by the time you go to work for 8 to 10 or sometimes even 12 hours, gym 2 hours, then you got to do this, you got to do that, driving between all these different places, running errands here, running errands there. It's like there's no more time to content create, to promote and market yourself. There's no more time to be an influencer. So, one of the things that I had to just get out of my head and had to just accept that I'm just going to have to do that in a way that makes sense for me. So, no, I'm probably not going to have all the crazy cool transitions and the crazy, clones and all that stuff like that, because I just don't have the time. Like, legitimately, I really don't. So I'm just going to have to bring that along with my everyday life already. So I kind of accepted the fact that maybe I'm like a lifestyle content creator where I can take people along with what I do every day. So yeah, for some it's easy, for others it's not, and then for some people they're like, yeah, I do all that too, and I still do my, okay, well, that's you, but I have to get my 7 hours of sleep, so I'm not going to cut into my sleep time to prioritize content creation, because at the end of the day, that's not a top three on my priority list. So
Yeah, it's definitely a fine balance between like your regular 9 to 5 job and then your creations like as a musician, like trying to
yeah.
find the perfect balance to be able to do both and still have a social
Exactly.
life and then still
Yeah.
get rest. Like that's
Yeah, it's a lot, and when you take it as a take up on the mindset of like, okay, this is a job. You see what
yeah.
I'm saying? Then okay, I probably can't do this full time along with my other full time work, but I am gonna find a way to prioritize at least part time and do that consistently and do that consistency. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the goal essentially is to like make your full-time job like at the moment and then the music like part-time and then over time they start switching and then eventually the full-time just gets completely phased out and this is your full-time like
Right.
and then
Exactly.
and then eventually it's just automated. Like you don't have to do too much marketing and promoting. You just have to release the music, let people know where your show is going to be at and then show up, perform and then go home like
Right, exactly. But in order to get to that point, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some years. Even still today in 2025, with everything that we have accessible to us, there's just some things that you just cannot shortcut on. And, you just can't, there's no such thing as an overnight success. You're not going to put out a song today and then blow up and you're the biggest, hottest thing on the planet tomorrow. It just doesn't work that way. So some people may say, well, you have social media available to you. You don't have to have a label. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Yeah, but at the end of the day, this business runs on just a formula that time has to be put into the equation. So if you're trying to take time out of the equation, you're going to disappoint yourself and you're going to set unrealistic goals thinking that you're finna be touring, all 50 states and in three different countries off of one song in a day. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, I put time into my equation and I think I have a healthy timeline on when is a good time for me to pop if I stay consistent. And for me that's 5 years. So I told myself, okay, if I give myself 5 years and I go all in on this on 5 years, in 5 years I should have a song that pops. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, whoa, who is this artist? We didn't know of her. And people go back and listen to your catalog and they're like, oh my God, she's been dropping songs for years. All of her songs are good. That's how I find most of my favorite artists. Like one of my favorite artists, I didn't know who he was. And the song that I heard about from him was a song he dropped in 2016. And I found this artist in 2019. So I was like, oh, whoa, no, not 2019. It was 2020. And I was like, oh, whoa, this song is 4 years old. And I went through his catalog. The dude had like over 100 songs. So pretty much what I'm building, what I'm dropping now is just a catalog for people to come back to when I do pop. So yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's my issue partially with the whole industry, going back to your earlier point about how people are like, you have all this technology, you have all this social media, you should just release it because that'll help you like get fame. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't be successful within this amount of time, because you got all this stuff. And I'm like, I feel like a lot of the creators who've been saying that, or not even creators, just like artists in general, because I've been hearing Russ say that, I've been hearing Gary Vee say that. I'm like, we have this technology and stuff, but with this technology, it's a new set of problems in this new generation. Like,
Exactly.
because it's like for y'all didn't have all this technology, right? Like, y'all went the normal route of like, in Russ's case, being discovered and being signed and being marketed and promoted.
Exactly.
And then Gary Vee's whole thing, like, didn't have a phone to constantly record himself going on these rants and tangents and taking phone calls from people. Like, he started as a wine seller or something like that, right? Like,
Hmm.
and I don't know, I kind of feel like a lot of artists or big name artists and celebrities are kind of out of touch with like new age artists and those struggles. Like, am I the only one who feels like that sometimes? Like,
No, I definitely agree with you because there's certain things that play a factor into how quickly a person may pop off or versus how why it may take a person longer versus someone else. But I definitely do think that they're out of touch a little bit because it's like you benefited from the older business model of becoming an artist and you still had to put time into building your craft and being discovered. So it's just like the advice is just not really landing for me because now it kind of seems like the business model is 100% relying on social media for new artists.
yeah,
And because they are quote unquote the machine, meaning that you guys have millions of dollars to be able to put behind your artists, whether it's on a deal or a joint deal or a single deal or an EP album deal, whatever the case may be, because y'all have millions of dollars that are just not easily accessible for an everyday person that's on that grind to have access to, it just doesn't translate well. It's like, yeah, but you're already there. And it's like, I'm not comparing where I am to where you are. I'm letting you know that you are not the right person to give advice on the new upcoming artists today. You probably can give advice on something else, but as it relates specifically to social media, promo and marketing, you don't I feel like you don't have the right to say, "Oh, you have everything at your fingertips now. This is all on you." Because that's not how you got discovered. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, hey, I really think people should just really just be honest and just be like, yo, look, yeah, we have all of these new things available to us, but there's still a learning curve there.
yeah,
So I think that's just why it's just so out of touch and it gets a little not really frustrating, but just more like annoying. And it's like, just shut
yeah,
up. It's
yeah.
like shut up, you know? So
That's exactly how it's been feeling, honestly. And it feels more like a frustrating personally to me. But frustrating because it's like I get that. I get that we have this stuff and I get that I should be posting like this and I do, but I'm also like y'all make it sound like I'm supposed to be posting for like a week straight and then I'm gonna pop off like immediately right after or like a month at most and immediately I'm gonna be like, I don't think y'all realize like the time that's passed between y'all being to where y'all are and where y'all started from versus us now and this time. And then it's like, again, I feel like with the introduction of social media and these numbers like constantly scaling on these platforms for people, like where all these big companies are only looking at these numbers for like, oh, can you like bring sales in for these tickets, for these albums, for this whatever for us to even bet on you versus like, oh, we see that you have talent, so we're gonna take a risk on you. Because that's
Mhm.
essentially what it is nowadays. It's like a numbers game. Like, where are your numbers at? It's always, where's your numbers? Where are your numbers? Where are your numbers? And I'm
For
like,
example, there's a female artist. I don't know if she's a singer or a rapper, but not too long ago, I guess a post that she made kind of went viral because she was saying she had this amount of followers on Instagram or TikTok or on social media, and she literally got like 100 people only listening to her music. You see what I'm saying? It's like, how do I have almost like this amount of followers, but only I think it was like a very very low number of people of monthly listeners she had on Spotify. It was almost like she couldn't believe it. And then people was like, "Yeah, sweetheart, welcome to the music business. Just because you have followers don't mean that you are going to have streams." And that's the thing that I think a lot of people are forgetting to factor into and remember is that yeah, you can have such a strong social media presence. You can have all the views, you can have all the shares, all the comments, you can have all the followers in the world, you can have the look. You see what I'm saying of a successful artist, but the real truth is in who's listening to your music. And she got that reality check, and it's just like, yeah, it takes time, you know. So, and you have to have the right package, you have to have the right branding, you have to have the right message, you have to have the right look, you have to have the right music that fits who you are and what you represent and what it is you say that you're standing for. And for some people, they keep that as authentic as possible. And if you're going to do that, then you have to package your authenticity in a way that is relatable and digestible. And then some people, they just go with the tried and true method and they just do what everybody else do. And they sound like everybody else. And they're not distinguishing themselves or separating themselves from the difference. So the approach that I'm taking is like, no, I am different and I'm going to prioritize that difference. So it's going to take a little bit longer because I'm learning how to properly package that difference that people can relate and be inspired by. So that goes right along into what we're talking about right now. It's just that, yeah, you can have that social media presence all day long. You can work hard, do all the cringy stuff, do all the gimmick stuff to get, that traffic to your page. But, you know, are you at least getting 10%? Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. 10%. You just need to convert 10% of whoever is looking at what you do to buy or sell or listen to your music. And a lot of people aren't even converting that 10%. And they're realizing that, okay, am I selling myself short or like what's going on here? Because ain't nobody effing with my music, you know? So even
yeah.
trying to use that social media business model, it's still a learning curve with that. So, yeah.